And good morning, everyone. I'm going to have to talk fast, I guess, because 12 years in 10 minutes is pretty difficult to goal to achieve. But first of all, and I want to introduce Janice here, who has her head in the side. Janice has been helping me. I've been having difficulty getting connected on my computer, so I'm actually at her home. Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Bailey, and thanks, Janice, for helping out here. Good morning, everyone, and I am really happy to be here this morning to talk about and share some of the success stories from Lambton Shores. And the first comment I'd like to make is this is the first presentation that I've done in 12 years where I have had a picture on the screen, the first picture, and it has a healthy beach. That's our beach in Port Franks with the marram grass coming back. And this is where 12 years ago, we got started in Phragmites management. So switch slides, please, Bailey. So our work started actually in 2009 when some cottagers realized that we had an issue with Phragmites. We were fortunate enough to know what it was, and we got on top of it right away with our partners, who at that time were the Coastal Centre and Jeff Peach and Dover AgriServe. So I want to stress how important early detection and rapid response is, and there will be a few examples of that throughout my presentation. But the Lambton Shores Phragmites Community Group then became an official nonprofit in 2012. Can you switch it again, please? So we were the first municipality to tackle Phragmites with using a watershed approach or a landscape approach. And we realized that we had to deal with the spread vectors. It wasn't just the beach, that we had a huge issue in Port Franks. So we got together with, over the years, with government at all levels, conservation authorities, private landowners, the agriculture community, community organizations, to work with them to stop the spread and reinfestation. And in 2014, the Invasive Phragmites Management Plan that Janice created for the Municipality of Lambton Shores was adopted by Council. And a good result that happened with Port Franks is now the Port Franks Beach Association has created a stewardship committee, and they look after the follow-up and the touch-up with Phragmites. Change the slide, please. So our approach from the beginning was to help other shoreline communities get established and share information. And our projects extend along the whole shoreline, municipal shoreline, from Grand Bend in the northeast down to the Townsend line. And I'm going to just highlight a few of these. Change the slide, please. So Grand Bend was one of the first communities that we helped after getting it under control in Port Franks. We identified 12 small cells and engaged Grand Bend Horticulture and the Osable Bayfield Conservation Authority. And with the help of Dover AgriServe and Janice's help, we were able to help Grand Bend to get rid of it. Again, early detection, rapid response. They had it under control, manageable within 5 months. And good news here is that they continue to reach out to, the Horticulture Society continues to reach out to the Osable Bayfield CA if they see frag reoccurring. And the cost of dealing with the frag in Grand Bend was less than $4,000. Because they got on top of it fast. And compare that to the hundreds of thousands of dollars in some of the other sections of our municipality that we're working in. Change the slide, please. Our largest and most challenging project is this Lambton Shores Wetland Enhancement Project at Wood Drive. Working along the shoreline has been very challenging, dealing with the weather, the high winds, the fluctuating water levels, boulders in the water, access issues, and the sheer high density of the Phragmites in this area. This is a provincially significant wetland, and there is about over 156 acres, and most of it is in the water in Lake Huron. But we persisted, and working closely with Jan and the IPCC and with funding from different levels of government, we have made considerable progress. Over 90% of this area is under control. And we still have some work to do, but it's looking really, really good. Change the slide, please. And this is just a couple of examples of what it looked like when we began. Lake Huron was behind that sea of frag. And the next slide. And I've just included some pictures here. Very quickly, we can go through these, but I wanted just to show the different methods and the tools that we've used. And when we didn't have the tools, we created our own. We've been very creative in the way we have approached this with the help of Jan. Can you change the slide, please? And we've also been very fortunate to have Lambton Centre United Church Camp is in this area. And so we're off the beaten path. And so getting volunteers has been challenging, but thank goodness for the cottagers that are there, and Lambton Centre. The picture in the top left-hand corner is of their camp counselors. And Sandra Marshall, who you're going to hear from in a few minutes, Sandra and I, well, the church camp was having their counselors have to go and remove 12 pieces of frag before they had breakfast. And they've been very creative in getting our support and getting support. Change the slide, please. So here's some, and I hope that you can get this to work, Bailey. This is a video, a very short video that was taken in, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. This was taken this past October, and I just want to show what the shoreline looks like now. This is looking towards Sarnia and we're on the shore, and it's just amazing, the difference. And we're going around to Grand Bend up to Kettle and Stony Point. And you can see the shoreline there. It's just, honestly, I think it was Karen Alexander this past year came down with me one day to take a look at the shoreline. And she said she felt like she was gonna cry. So Karen, I hope I'm not embarrassing you, but really, I think that truly has been the effect on most people. So next slide, please. So this was before, and this was after. This is Lambton Centre's beach now. And again, change the slide. So the Upperwash Frag Fighters, I'm going to let Sandra talk about that. Amazing group of people. And the next slide. This is our most recent project. And again, we're circling back to Port Franks. This area was in water. We were not able to get on top of it at all. So it's been on our radar for 12 years. And 3 years ago, we started and we did some work in a small section of Owl Lake, another globally rare, provincially significant area in Port Franks. Next slide, please. And this past year, we were able to partner with Nature Conservancy, the Osable Bayfield Conservation Authority, the Municipality of Lambton Shores, and some private landowners. And we have come up with support from Green Shovels. We have come up with a 2-phase approach. Phase 1 was completed last summer, and there's a picture of Jill Crosswaite and another staff member from Nature Conservancy going up the creek to do some spraying. And phase 2 will be coming in 2022, and we are hoping to be able to have habitat aqua. That's why we are able to get into this area. Next slide.
2 minutes remaining.
Okay. I'm going to kind of switch into some other things that we've been doing besides the projects. From the beginning, we've shared information. This shows some of the locations where we've presented. Next slide. We've also created and delivered workshops across the province for golf course superintendents, agriculture, We have the endorsement of the Ontario Federation of Agriculture and roadside control. Next slide. The workshop that we gave for roadside control, we invited community services, public work staff, contractors, neighboring from around the Lambton Shores area and beyond the Lambton Shores area. In fact, we had a representative there from Hydro-Quebec. We had the Ontario Invasive Plant Council launch their clean equipment protocol at this meeting, and we were able to work with college anyway to get credits for participants. And from this, we also were able to get involved with the committee that created the smart practices for roadsides. Next slide. We also went to County Council and asked for them to create a Phragmites coordinator position, which they did. And St. Clair Regional Conservation Authority has been given that designation. We also talked and got them to acknowledge that there could be a problem with wind turbines. So Phragmites is now a component of all land use agreements. Our community outreach programs have been very successful. I'll give you an example of this. You can see what's on the slide. Before Christmas, in Grand Bend, the local hardware store unintentionally arranged with a couple of farmers in the area to allow them to have their planters out front of their store. And very quickly, we got a call from a resident in Grand Bend who alerted us to this. We got in touch with the manager of the store, who then got in touch with the couple who created these. And by the next morning, they had been removed. And then we were able to send out, we posted a thank you to the community, to the manager, because people just didn't understand what frag looked like. And so that's the kind of thing that is happening with our social media. And next slide, please. With our partners as well, we've also created and shared educational literature. I want to draw attention to the one in the bottom left right-hand corner of your screen. This was from an idea that came from the States, and I think it's a great tool, and we're willing to share all of these educational pieces with people. But this is just an information piece that you can give to a neighbor or put at their door. And it's a gentle reminder, and it gives information about Phragmites. And in our case, what we did was we approached the Osable Bayfield Conservation Authority and St. Clair Conservation and asked if they would be willing to put their contact information on this piece of information, and they did. So that was another success story. And next slide. And just we've also received recognition from various sources, and I just wanted to share that. And the last slide is, and I find this very challenging because we have had so many amazing partners, and I'm always afraid I'm going to leave some out. Just know, if you've partnered with us and you're here today, that we greatly appreciate all the support and the help that has been given us over the years. And this wouldn't have been possible without the funding we received and donations from corporations and from community organizations. Ducks Unlimited has helped us out. And I also just want to recognize that the hard work of our committee. We have 9 people on our committee, and most have been on the committee right from the get-go. And just an amazing group of people with talents that they bring to the work that we have been doing. So thank you very much. I also, just one very quick remembrance, as I've been putting this together, it's given me an opportunity to go back over the years, and oh my gosh, there's been so much that has happened. But one of the first recollections that I have is being in the old Lake Huron Centre for Coastal Conservation office in Goderich with Karen Alexander and Jeff Peach, and working on the toolkit. I don't know, Karen, if you remember that, but that was one of the first projects that we took on years ago. So thank you, and it's great to see so many dedicated people